Every empire begins with hunger, a hunger for expansion, for resources, for dominance. Rome found it in conquest, Spain found it in gold, Britain found it in trade, and America found it in the dollar. In the first stage of empire, conquest, nations grow through creation and courage. Their economies are fueled by real work, real production, and real innovation. Rome's legions brought home silver and slaves, expanding both wealth and markets. Spain's conquistadors carried entire mountains of gold across the Atlantic. Britain's fleet sailed across the world, turning trade into empire. And the United States, in its early days, conquered through industry, not swords, but steel. Yet conquest is never only physical, it's psychological. The belief that we are chosen, we are destined, we cannot fall. That belief builds empires and blinds them.
When the wars end and the borders settle, the second stage begins: commerce. The empire, now wealthy and confident, builds its fortune through trade and finance. Rome became the world's market, its roads and ports pulsing with movement. Spain turned its colonies into supply chains of silver and sugar. Britain's pound sterling ruled the seas, and London became the global bank. America did the same, but faster, turning its industries into monopolies and its dollar into the currency of the planet. Trade brings prosperity, but also dependency. The empire no longer makes its wealth by producing, it earns it by managing. Money replaces work. Finance replaces creation. Rome's merchants became bankers. Spain's kings borrowed from foreign lenders. Britain's financiers replaced soldiers, and America's corporations replaced craftsmen. It's the golden age. Beautiful, profitable, and fragile.
Every empire reaches a moment where it believes it has mastered the world. This is stage 3, glory. Rome called it Pax Romana, the Roman peace. Spain called it the Golden Century. Britain called it the Victorian Age. And America called it the American Dream. In this stage, wealth floods upward, art flourishes, cities shine, and leaders speak of destiny. The empire builds monuments to itself, cathedrals, parliaments, skyscrapers, as if to declare, we are eternal. But under every golden dome, corruption whispers. The empire begins to believe that prosperity is permanent, that success is guaranteed by divine right. Rome stretched from Scotland to Syria. Spain controlled oceans. Britain ruled a quarter of the planet. And America built a digital empire, one not of territory, but of data, money, and influence. But the numbers on screens are no more stable than the silver in Rome's coins. When wealth becomes belief, collapse becomes inevitable. After glory comes excess. The empire's appetite grows faster than its production. This is stage 4, greed. Rome debased its silver coins. Spain flooded Europe with gold, collapsing prices. Britain printed notes faster than it could mine coal. And America? It replaced gold with promises. In the age of greed, money ceases to represent value. It becomes belief. Rome's emperors cut their coins with copper, declaring them equal in worth. Spain borrowed endlessly against future galleons that would never arrive. Britain's pound weakened as debts financed wars and luxuries. And the US dollar, once as good as gold, now floats on nothing but trust. Greed also spreads beyond money. It infects politics, business, and the people themselves. Citizens once proud of building now demand benefits for nothing. The empire's entrepreneurs turn into speculators.
Its soldiers turn into mercenaries. Its leaders turn into actors. The markets still rise. The monuments still shine. But beneath, the foundation rots.
When greed consumes the empire, debt becomes its new master. This is stage 5, debt. Rome paid its armies with promises. Spain borrowed from Dutch bankers. Britain mortgaged its empire to fund endless wars. And America printed itself rich until the debt became too vast to see. Debt is invisible but absolute. It steals from the future to buy the present. It silences innovation, punishes saving, and rewards manipulation. In Rome, citizens hoarded gold and hid from taxes. In Spain, inflation destroyed the middle class. In Britain, entire colonies were sold to pay interest. In America, the government spends more each year than it earns, yet calls it growth. Debt is the final illusion of strength before collapse. It gives the appearance of prosperity even as the real wealth drains away. The empire continues to build palaces, pay pensions, and wage wars, but everything is borrowed. The numbers rise, but the value falls. It's the silence before the fall of empires.
Every empire ends the same way, not with invasion, but with disbelief. This is stage 6, collapse. Rome did not fall in a day. It fell in trust. The legions stopped fighting. The citizens stopped believing. The empire simply stopped working. Spain's gold became worthless metal. Britain's colonies slipped away, one by one. And the dollar, once the world's faith, now trembles under the weight of its own creation. Collapse is never just economic. It's moral, cultural, and spiritual. People no longer trust their leaders. Leaders no longer serve the people. Money no longer buys value, only illusion. And yet, collapse is not the end. It is the rebirth. After Rome fell, Europe was born. After Britain's empire faded, innovation returned home. And after America's dollar loses its throne, a new order will rise. Perhaps digital, perhaps decentralized, perhaps global. History does not end. It resets. The cycle turns again. And every empire believes, until the very last breath, that it is the exception.
Empires rise on courage. They prosper on commerce. They shine through glory and fall through greed, debt, and disbelief. The pattern is eternal. Rome thought it was immortal. Spain thought gold would never run dry. Britain thought the sun would never set. And America thinks the dollar will never die. But the clock turns, as it always does. We are not watching history repeat. We are watching it rhyme. The real question is not whether collapse will come, but whether we will be ready for what rises after.